night, everybody. This is the Log Post Lounge, and today we'll be reviewing Pokémon 4Ever.
Yes, this is the fourth Pokemon movie. It came out in July 2001 in Japan and October 2002 in the US. And the subtitle in Japan was Celebi, A Timeless Encounter. So what do we think of this movie?
So the premise of this movie, or basic summary, Celebi is a guardian of the forest, and some villains like to abuse its power, and Celebi basically cascades through time to save a child, and the series of events unfolds from there. It's definitely a movie that's neat to watch. It's a little different from all the others.
So my overall impression of the fourth Pokemon movie was that it was enjoyable, but not like something that stood out to me. I would say I probably enjoyed it more than the first and second one, but not as much as the third one. I think I liked the use of the elusive legendary Suicune, the way that they did it, even though it'd be cool to see more screen time for Suicune. I thought they did a good job with having Suicune play its role the way that it did and put more of attention on Celebi. I will say Celebi, when I was a kid, I used to thought was super cute, but rewatching this, I got kind of annoyed with it just overly talking and saying B, 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 B.
Wow.
Like every other second. I mean, it's still cute, but it just got like, it was just like overkill. I was like, part of me was just like, shut the hell up. How many times do you have to like have some respect? You're a legendary, like self-respect.
Mythical.
But I'd say, overall, I thought that it was good, but nothing to me like stood out about the movie. I guess the art style was cool. I will say that I did like the sort of like the reveal at the end that Sam was Professor Oak, and that Professor Oak knew about Ash, I guess, back in the day. And I've read theories about how basically Professor Oak intentionally let Ash choose Pikachu because there needed to be a timeline that had to be followed so that the course of events that happened in this fourth movie would play out the way that they did.
I'd say while watching this movie, what makes it a little different from the others is it's a little more like it is a forest. The main setting's in a forest. It's a very like a rustic movie. It has like that like My Neighbor Totoro kind of vibes to it, like Princess Mononoke vibes almost. It's a lot different from the other movies. It's very artsy, like maybe Claude Monet kind of like painting. It was definitely drawn differently than the other movies were.
I'm going to have to disagree on you. Like, at no point, I mean, yeah, there was some beautiful shots, but I wouldn't go too far as saying it was, like, artistic or, like, it looked like almost straight out of a painting. It just felt...
Well, they had, like, Celebi shrines, and, like, they had Suicune hopping on the water, and, like, when you go, and you can, like, it had a lot of aspects to it if you pay close attention to the movie.
But in no way would I call that as, like, oh, man, this is such a aesthetically pleasing shot. Like it's the next, Monet or something like that. And
no, I want to say you can tell it gained inspiration from things. Like I'm not sure what those inspirations were when they created this movie, but it definitely has a different alert to it, in my opinion.
To me, it felt like in a very extended episode of like the anime. No, like I wouldn't say it was like they put a lot of money budget into this film. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know. The art style didn't really stand out to me. Like it looks like another movie. I don't know. It didn't wow me. And I said I don't mind it being kind of just not like you said like an episode of the anime or even just like kind of like a down to earth kind of thing. There's no like we're saving the world or anything like that. It's very there's this simple Pokemon and there's this boy from the past and we're kind of just figuring it out. It's not like, oh, Entei is taking over this town, or Ash needs to be the chosen one, you know? So I appreciated that part of it. They don't all need to be the end of the world, you know?
Yeah. But it's funny because this movie was I guess the villain in this, he was Team Rocket. He was like a Team Rocket admin or something, or a scout. And so he had like dark energy balls, and he was turning Selby into like some apocalyptic, some like apocalyptic entity or whatever. It was like, but I don't know what his like end goal was with it. It didn't really get to that point.
I mean, it seemed like his end goal was basically to, you know, obviously use Celebi's power to take over Team Rocket.
I mean, he was just taking over the forest, though. It had nothing to do with taking over Team Rocket. I think in the movie, the guy said, he said, fuck Team Rocket. He's going solo or some shit.
What? About, did you miss his monologue? Like, were you paying attention? Well, like, did you, like, he literally said it himself, like he was testing out Celebi's power, and then, like, when Celebi, like, basically did Avatar Aang's, you know, wind bending and to the forest, you know, he's like, oh, like, this is more powerful than I expected, and now I can take over Team Rocket. Like, why would Giovanni have to listen to me now? I think at some point, yes, you wanted to give this Celebi to Giovanni, but then later he was like, oh, like, this is even more powerful than I imagined. Like, why am I going to give this away to the boss when I can just literally use this and, like, basically, you know, have him bend to my will? Like, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and he probably heard what Giovanni did with Mewtwo, so he's like, I'm not going to give Giovanni another Pokemon to waste. Yeah. But, I think the villain is very, like, cartoony villain. Like, I'm this poacher, which I feel like isn't really brought up in the anime or in the games much, other than so I guess that's kind of neat.
I mean, the games do have poachers though.
Yeah,
like remember, like Team Rocket, as you're trying to cut off Slowpoke tails.
That's true. I guess that's just Team Rocket's MO.
Yeah, but he wasn't much of a poacher. I think he was just more like a rare hunter.
Well, I guess I'm thinking about the other guy, the guy who's like in the flashback, like the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the one chick in the one series, the Pokemon Hunter J. She was a poacher. She was freaking one of the most badass villains in the series, too. She would, like, turn them into, like, freaking, like, chocolate statues or some shit. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, she would, like, put this little, like, disc under the Pokemon, and they turn into, like, a clay or a chocolate. I think it was chocolate, like, in order to, like, crystallize them, and then it was weird. I don't know if you watched any of the Pokemon Hunter J.
No,
series.
Not familiar with that.
She had like the Salamence and the Drapion and stuff, but they killed her. She was in like a little ship and it exploded. Like it was.
Yeah, the top result on Google is her death. So.
Right. The ship literally, it was like a big like explosion. I'm like, okay, that was cool, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but Team Rocket explodes every day, but her one time only.
They're dead. I feel like it lacked plot armor. I mean, like it had a clear plot. It moved forward, but it didn't. I don't know. I thought it was just kind of weak compared to the other ones.
Okay, hold on.
Well, I mean, I definitely agree with that. And the kid from the past, Sam, like I don't know. I feel like I expected him or remembered him having a bigger role. Even in this movie, like Selby is like weak and dying, and it's like Ash is there doing like trying to feed it, but it's like I thought Sam would be the one there, like because it's like you traveled time with Selby, like why aren't you the one helping Selby?
So
it felt like Ash was like putting himself in there. I know he's the main character, but you know, I just
I like the wrong message it sends kids. It's like, oh hey kids, you know, you can keep trying to revive your fellow loved ones. You just gotta try harder, you know?
Yeah,
It was like with the dying Selby, like I mentioned this a few minutes ago, like it kind of had like Princess Mononoke vibes. Like it had that Guardian of the Forest. Okay,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
You haven't seen the movie, Adrian, so how could you disagree? You have not seen Princess Mononoke, so how could you even disagree with this?
I disagree with you saying that it's an artistic movie and it's
Suicune was like, you had like healing water properties.
No.
How could you disagree with something that you can't even like
I'm
analyze
disagreeing
the
with.
comparison?
I'm
You haven't
disagreeing the
seen Princess Mononoke, so how
You
could you even say
chill.
no to that?
I agree
No.
with you, Alex. Even like when Selby is like captured and be like evil, like that is very like the boar from Princess Mononoke, kind of like corrupting the forest.
Exactly. Suicune literally has like the healing properties that the Elk had
Yep.
or the Guardian of the Forest had in Mononoke. Like I feel like they gained a lot of inspiration from it, creating Pokemon Forever. Like literally, that Selby was on the verge of death, and Suicune had healing properties that jumped across the water, like it's just like they did in Miyazaki's film.
Purify the water. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Suicune was a very strong aspect of this movie. Like,
No, I disagree. I disagree. Like, I remember Suicune, like, I saw parts of this movie when I was younger, and I remember Suicune having a bigger role, but Suicune doesn't basically does jack shit besides purify the waters and didn't really put up a fight against the masked Marauder. And so I was just like left wondering, like, what's the point of having Suicune besides just that one pivotal moment where like he purifies the water?
So I thought that Suicune was the reason why Celebi got revived, because without the purified water, Celebi would have been just dead, right?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So I wouldn't say that Suicune's role is insignificant. I think both Celebi and Suicune, they sort of have dual roles or share responsibility in, I guess, looking after the forest or something like that. At least that's what I kind of took away from it.
So the whole point I was just trying to say is like I remember Suicune having a bigger role when I was younger, but like it just I wish Suicune had more screen time because it just definitely felt like it was shoehorned at the very end to just kind of be there to purify the waters and just like it didn't really put up a fight against the Masked Marauder, which I kind of wish Suicune to put up more of like just to see how badass it was against Celebi and the masked guy.
Well, I guess that's what makes Suicune legendary, because he's not being caught up in stupid ass human drama. He's just just staying mysteriously not present.
Yeah, when the water's dirty, he comes and cleans it up, and then he leaves. That's it.
But he did allow a ride to both Sammy and.
We don't have to do this again.
Oh, I am. Sorry.
I mean, it was momentary, I guess. It wasn't like, Look, all I'm saying is I don't think it's fair to say Suicune didn't have a significant role in the movie just because it didn't get as much screen time. Because at the end of the day, Celebi would be a fucking dead Pokemon, basically.
I mean, it wasn't
if it wasn't for Suicune.
Yeah.
Hold on. Suicune didn't really technically revive. It was just like the Celebi that came out of nowhere at the very end due to like Ash just crying once again. That kind of revived because remember Suicune did purify the waters, but Celebi was really dead, and it wasn't until Ash cried that revived Celebi.
Well, I don't think it was Ash's tears alone. Like, Ash doesn't have magic tears, bro. I'm pretty sure it's because Ash's emotions. I'm pretty sure the tears were symbolic of emotions hitting the water, and there's magical properties in the water that were activated from Ash's emotions, which led to the revival of Celebi. But I still don't think you can discredit the importance of the water or the fact that none of that shit would have happened if it wasn't for Suicune.
So what happened in the movie was that the water was pure. It was like a healing fountain. Once Selby was tainted, the forest recognized
I saw the movie. Alex.
But Suicune, the water was tainted because the forest recognized the darkness in Selby that was happening, and that's why Suicune had to come and purify.
Is this an AI answer, Alex?
No, that's what happened if you watch the movie. Like, it literally said it.
Alex, I saw the fucking movie. You don't need to you don't need to mansplain the movie to me.
Well, Suicune is very significant.
Okay, what I'm saying basically is that I felt like Suicune, when I was younger, had a bigger presence, and I wish he had more screen time. And it just kind of felt like, hey, you know what? This guy only had like small pivotal moments at the very end, and like I wish he could have put up more. fight against the Masquerade. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm not saying like, oh, Suikun's a bitch.
Well, there's a difference between saying what you just said
Yeah.
and saying that he had an insignificant role or that he was just shoehorned in. And like, I mean, I think it's fair to say that Suicune, it would have been cooler to see more screen time and more of an engaging role in the movie. But I still think that for whatever little screen time that he had, he still played a significant role, because without Suicune purifying the water, the forest would have stayed gone to shit. Celebi would not have been revived, and there wouldn't have been a happy ending to it. So, in a way, Suicune did play a big part in being somewhat of a savior.
Plus, it's literally Selby's movie, you know, like Suicune got time to shine, but this is, in the end of the day, the Selby movie.
Even in the beginning of the movie, Professor Oak was like, Suicune is very rare. You hardly ever see him. I caught a glimpse of him in the past. Like, his Suicune's elusive. Like, it isn't seen often. So,
Yeah.
I mean.
Speaking of that scene, though, another Tracy cut scene. They cut out Tracy from the English version of that scene.
Nice.
The Tracy slander continues.
This movie might have drawn a lot of its concepts from Princess Mononoke. It shares a very heavy similarity with the movie. There's a lot of things that are like almost like mirrored. And I think this movie came out like a few years after Mononoke did. So I just thought it was very interesting.
I never actually watched Princess Mononoke, but
Oh, wow.
yeah,
It's
that's
like
one of the few.
second best Miyazaki movie right next to Spirit.
Oh, Chris, you're not going to give post shit for not watching the movie?
You know, you humbled
Guys,
me before, so I didn't want to say anything now.
Dude, Parth, that's like critical essential.
Well, the difference between me and you, Adrian, is that I don't shit on good Ghibli movies just for the sake of hating on
They already had
Miyazaki.
an argument about the movie.
He hasn't even seen the movie, but he disagreed with me. I'm like, what?
I disagree when you said it. I disagree when you said it was artsy, bro. Not when Miyazaki. Okay.
Who said what was artsy?
I thought just because it was very rustic and foresty, it seemed like I seemed to feel like very like painting-ish or like artsy. Like this movie was drawn a lot differently than the other movies were. I mean, it was just so simple and forestry that.
Oh, I
gave that
see what you're
impression.
saying. Well, I think you're probably just misusing the term artsy. I would agree with like the whole like painting-esque nature of just the art style, but I wouldn't call it artsy. I don't think.
Yeah, I just gotta find another synonym for that. But yeah, it was it was just drawn differently. It was like impressionist. It was, I mean, I liked it for that. Like I said, I was telling him the plot armor was a little weaker than the other movies, but the art style I thought was a high point.
What do you mean plot? What do you mean by plot armor?
Like I felt like the villain was weak. I felt like there wasn't a central
That's not
purpose
plot
to a lot
armor.
of this movie. I felt like the Selby going back in time. I mean, I thought this movie was just too simple, like Chris said before. It was. One thing, a question I had with this movie, I don't know if you guys can answer it. When all the Selbys came out of like the time hole at the end, were there multiple Selbys, even though it's legendary, or were those Selbys from other timelines?
Firstly, it's a mythical Pokemon, and I assume it's just from different parts of the timeline. Those Selbys.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's
I haven't
supposed to be only one Selby, and I'm like, okay, that's where I got it.
Yeah, it's like them going back in time to save themselves, essentially.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't shared my thoughts on the movie, so I want to just kind of
Sure.
provide my input. I thought it was boring. I literally thought it's like an extended version of an episode of the anime. It's just like nothing really captured my attention to really like, this is interesting. The plot was just kind of a snore, to be honest. I mean, I kind of did like the Masquerade in terms of like him busting out like his Pokemon. Like obviously seeing Darktan is always pretty cool. See Sneasel, Scizor, I just couldn't buy. Also Bailey winning against Scizor, but I don't know, just like it didn't really sit well with me, and it was just like a total snooze fest. I had to really force myself to finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with you, Adrian, a lot. I think this one was, like I said before, too simple. I think it was kind of boring. The biggest highlights I had of this movie, I repeated, is I liked the style and I guess art and like the impression of it. I liked the foresty scene, but again, it was boring. I thought it had more going for it than some of the other movies, but overall, it was weaker.
Just to kind of clarify, like, even though Alex, it sounds like you didn't enjoy it as much as I did, and same with you, Adrian. Like I said, I don't think anything about this movie really stood out. I thought it was good, but it didn't like stand out to me. And there's specific parts of it that I think I enjoyed more than the first and second movies. I think that it had more of a, I don't know, complete storyline compared to the first and second movies. There were parts of the first and second movie that I feel like they just kind of rushed through the plot to just get to the end. I guess you could say the opposite of this one. This was kind of a dragged out movie, or it felt slower paced, but at the very least it felt more complete to me. It didn't feel like the storyline was rushed. But the thing that I specifically probably liked the most about the movie was just like the tie-in with Professor Oak. I just thought that was cool. But other than that, I didn't feel like there was any too over the top, crazy, save the world, plot involved in this movie, which I think was at least a little bit refreshing in my opinion.
Yeah,
because Ash is just Ash is just a 10-year-old boy. It was just nice to see like him just making a friend and helping a friend and trying to help save a Pokemon rather than save the world, which is a little bit ridiculous. In that regard, I thought it was different and unique, which I appreciated about the movie. There were definitely parts of the movie that were a drag and, like you guys said, boring, but I would still place it above the first and second, just overall.
Movie lacked music, didn't it? Or did anybody else notice that? Did it have a lot of like songs like the other ones did, or just...
I mean, the only memorable one is like when Celebi gets revived, but I didn't really care for that song.
Yeah. And something that I thought was weird. The English version doesn't show Sam / Professor Oak return to his time, which I thought was interesting.
Interesting.
Because it's like the credit scenes that's going through, and then like Sam shows up in his time, and then it's with the old lady there.
Yeah. So what's your analysis of this movie, Chris? Your full...
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. Like, I saw this in the theater. This was like the last one I saw in theaters. I think it might have been one of the last one that was actually came to U.S. theaters as well. So, but yeah, this is like Part said. I do kind of like the more down to earth. Like, we're not like saving the world. We're not, Ash doesn't need to be the chosen one again. So but I guess that kind of leads it to being kind of boring and feeling like another episode of the anime almost, just because it's so like that. But yeah, I don't know. I did like the Ash, Selby, and Professor Oak, like them together. I did like that. I don't really care for like, the villain turns into giant CG monster thing. But like Alex bringing up Princess Mononoke, that was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense why it became that. And yeah, it's once you said that, Alex, I was like, oh, that's it. Exactly. That's what they were going for.
There's just so much similarities, and maybe because Princess Mononoke was such a box office hit, maybe they wanted to help make this Pokemon movie a box office hit. I didn't look up what this thing did in the box office. I mean, was Pokemon 4Ever successful when it came out to theaters? Because I know those.
It made worldwide. It made 40.8 million.
So it's not terrible. Okay, so it's just,
yeah.
I don't know.
But again, like, this is the Pokemon craze. I feel like isn't as big as like the first movie or even the second. So I don't think it was ever going to be that. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, oh, good.
Well, I was gonna say, I feel like it's not uncommon for anime or movies to draw inspiration from previous works that's happened. I feel like time and time and again. Like I know Ghost in the Shell and the movie Akira, for example, those were huge influences on a lot of different anime and movies that came out after they were first released. So I wouldn't put it past Princess Mononoke having some type of influence, unless there's like some overarching, not myth, but just folktale or story within Japanese culture that both works, Princess Mononoke and Pokemon Forever, are drawing from. I could see why there'd be similarities.
It's probably something to look up, that like Lake of Life is like a basic, like a mythical place that they believed in. Maybe it did draw inspiration from those things, because they do have the what's that deer called? I know we mentioned it on when we were planning our Japan trips. What's that deer called? That's like the Guardian of the Forest is based off of the weird looking one. That it's not.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it.
Yeah.
Deer. Yeah, it's a Sika deer. Huh. Yeah, so where are we ranking this thing then overall based on our assessment of it? So remind everyone again, where did we rank the first three at?
All right, so Pokemon, the first movie, is B. Pokemon 2000 is C. And then Pokemon, the third movie, is A.
Oh, I guess this one, I think it's definitely not A or B. So I think it's somewhere around the C or D category. I gave it a D plus. But some people, I think you guys liked it a little more.
Yeah,
so maybe like closer to a C minus, maybe.
C, around the C for me. I don't think it's D.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like D is.
Yeah,
It's not.
Yeah,
it's
C's
not that
fair.
low. Yeah.
I'm personally gonna put it in D. I feel like it was such a chore for me to watch that. Yeah.
I feel like it should be C just because it deviates, and there's good qualities to it in terms of how it deviates from the rest of the movies. And I do think that there's something to be said about some of the, I don't know, Spirit of the Force folklore that they included in the movie. The other thing is, I remember we ranked Pokemon the first movie a little higher because of its significance. So if that was put in B, then I feel like, I don't know, at least for me, thinking that this fourth movie was slightly better than the first and second one, I feel like C would be a fair place to put it.
Yeah, C seems fair.
I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, so I had a question. There's a lot of like people holding Celebi and like petting Celebi. What does Celebi feel like? Is it like a leaf or is it onion? What do you think?
I feel like an onion.
Yeah, I think it feels like holding a bale of hay, maybe.
A bale of hay?
Or like a bale of like not maybe like what's like a softer hay, like a bale of like
grass?
Like I don't know, like thistle or like
or is it kind of like
weed or like little like I don't know. Maybe like a bale, like a ball of milkweed or like some like I don't know. Because it started withering away, which tells you it's some sort of like bush.
Yeah, it's definitely a plant.
So maybe holding like a, like one of those little pots from like Harry Potter, like the crying whatever.
Well, it's a fairy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, grass fairy. Yeah.
It's not a fairy type.
No, it's just grass psychic, but it's grass. So I'm gonna say it's some sort of ball of weeds.
I feel like it's like an onion. Like
I mean, its head looks like an onion, but it's definitely not.
You can Google this.
Well, actually, it has some physical qualities similar to maybe an insect. Like
it's very bug-like.
Its wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's drawing inspiration from like insect qualities as well as plant qualities, which kind of makes it one of the more creative Pokemon, in my opinion.
Oh. So a lot of sources are saying it's celery.
Oh, you know what? That'd be interesting. Maybe because it's, I don't know. I mean, what's it called in in Japanese? Like, what's the Japanese name for it?
Well, it's saying it could be possible. It has a head shaped like an onion, but it's also could be based off of celery. So I don't know. It's
The Japanese name is
onion.
So the Japanese name it's literally Celebi, but it comes from the Japanese name Saturday, and it also comes from like inspiration from Ceres, the Roman goddess of fertility, and to celebrate celestial serenity, and then
This is from Pokemon Go Hub. It says Celebi's head is unique shape, often believed to be inspired by the pearl of a silver skin onion. That's from Pokemon Go Hub. All right, so it's an onion, a pearl of a silver skin onion. Alrighty then.
You can see the fertility inspiration. Let's see.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. What the heck is that about?
Yeah.
Do onions and fertility have a lot to do with each other?
I think it's just fertility in general.
Okay.
So, but did you guys know that remember the GS ball that was introduced in the Johto series?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Celebi's in there.
So the original idea behind the GS ball was like the GS ball was to have Celebi in there, but that idea was dropped because obviously they decided to use Celebi for the movie instead.
You know, funny story with Celebi. When I was in daycare, when I was in like second grade, I remember the way to catch Celebi was you had to like headbutt trees in the Ilex forest and the Celebi would pop out. This one dude in the daycare was headbutting trees for hours and he happened to find one. I don't know if he used like a code or something. I don't know if that was like a natural game state because I thought, but he got one and he traded it to a bunch of people. But I don't know. I didn't know the circumstances of how he got it, but that's how I got my Celebi on my Pokemon Crystal version from this one kid in second grade daycare. I don't know.
Shout out to that guy.
I think his name was like Maxwell or some shit. I can't remember.
Well,
it was Sam.
Well, it was Sam.
Right. No, but I'm like, it was so weird how to catch it. Nobody I knew was able to like headbutt trees and get Celebi, and this dude randomly did. Maybe he was actually leaving it.
Celebi was almost impossible to get if you were living in the United States, because I think to get Celebi, like in the game Gold and Silver and Crystal, you had to get like a code, basically.
Oh, he must have put a code in because he had it on Crystal and he got it and he traded it to a bunch of us in daycare. So that's how I got mine. It was level 10 when we got it. It was so I don't know. I must have put a code in.
Probably use Game Shark or something, and like
that's
a lot. And back then, it was so easy to spread rumors like during recess because we didn't have internet back then. And like I remember like one of the most common rumors to get Mew was like you had to like surf like when the St. Annie left, and you had to use strength on the truck, and then Mew would be under the truck.
All right.
But like that's the most like common like debunked rumor. But yeah, like I think. So back then, it was like almost impossible for anybody in the United States to get.
Yeah, you needed a GS ball item to get it.
Its move pool was so shallow. It only learned like Leech Seed, Psybeam, Perish Song. It only had like 10 moves or some shit. Like, I remember that. All right.
A lot of the mythical Pokemon are like event Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like.
That's how Jirachi was. I got my Jirachi from Toys R Us when they did the one thing. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
I got it from Pokemon Coliseum.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That's how you got Lugia at the Coliseum 2 or whatever. Yeah, that shit was pretty cool. Do we have anything else to add about Forever?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up, since we didn't talk about it yet, the intro battle with Ash versus his Croconaw. Like, Ash clearly sees Croconaw in like on top of the trainer, but he's still like, Pikachu, kill them both.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. It's like that was just hilarious because I'm like, yo, bro, like you literally committed like a foul, like if not murder.
That wasn't even like, oh, my bad. It's like you saw this, you knew you were doing.
Yeah,
you can't save them all.
Funny. All right.
All right. And one last thing before we go. So Sam says, look at all the Butterfree. And then Ash replies, I hope you'll be free, Sam.
Must have missed that.
No, he's a slave to time. He's a slave to time. That's why.
All right.
That's kind of deep, actually, and
Deep.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to say, after this movie, we're practically done with Gen 2. And I think Gen 2 has the most movies out of all the other generations.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. Like, next one is Pokemon Heroes, which we start diving into Gen 3.
Yeah.
But how does it feel now that we are officially out of the Gen 2 era?
I mean, was Pokemon 2000 considered Gen 2, or wasn't that still Gen 1?
I would say because
I think
Lugia is in it, I guess.
But remember, Lugia was created for that movie only. So
That's true. So
I guess
it's Gen 1?
Gen 1.5.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still in the Orange Islands, right?
Yeah.
In that movie. Yep. And then the other three legendaries are also from Gen 1. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the first two movies were Gen 1, and Pokemon 3 and Pokemon 4Ever were Gen 2.
Yeah, Pokemon 2000 was weird. It came out right at like the advent of while they were creating the second gen. So yeah, it definitely qualifies as Gen 1. It's just kind of...
So I think Gen 3 actually has... Gen 3 or 4 have the most movies then.
And interesting.
But
I will say just one thing, and you guys can definitely disagree on this. Like, I think the only one I have about Gen 2, like the movies, I kind of wish there was like a Ho-Ho movie. Just because, like, the connection Ho-Ho has with Ash, and I get it, like, you know, you can say, like, hey, it's just a one-off thing where, like, you know, Ho-Ho bless Ash at the very beginning, but I think one thing when I was, like, younger, I definitely would have wanted to see a movie with Ho-Ho, and it kind of feels like a missed opportunity, especially, you know, covering Gen 2.
Yeah. Perhaps.
I would agree with that. I think part of the cool thing about Ho-Oh is that it just stays mysterious and untouchable, and they don't really do much with that Pokemon other than just leave it to being a mystery that's not, if ever or rarely seen. I mean, they did have a Pokemon episode, I think, dedicated to Ho-Oh in season 4. Well, it was one of the Johto seasons.
Yeah, it was the Sprout Tower, the Burn Tower episode. Yeah, but and they
that's
used
the closest it got to having. That's the closest it got to having its own story, but they still never ended up doing anything with it.
And then they used the flame from Ho-Oh to light the Olympic torch or whatever, or the Frontier torch. And it's like, okay, but how do they get that fire? Like, I don't know, but yeah. I think Ho-Oh was such a centrifugal part to Ash's journey. Like, it was the first thing he saw after getting Pikachu that I feel like you said, they wanted to keep the allure and mystery to it. If they would have created a movie, it might have taken away from Ash seeing Ho-Oh in the beginning like that. Because they made, like, that new Pokemon movie a few years ago, the Pokemon... what was the newest one? The
Secret of the Jungle?
No, they made a Pokemon movie about Ash, and they showed the whole scene and stuff.
Well, that is more of like a remake of the first couple episodes. So I feel
like they just didn't want to take away from that allure. I don't know.
I could be wrong. I could be
maybe
wrong.
Maybe it was a missed opportunity, like you said, Adrian.
I could be wrong about this, but I think Ho-Ho does reappear at the very end when they kind of close off Ash's story in the anime.
Nice.
But don't quote me on that.
You know, I think
That'd be cool.
There was an episode in the anime where after Ash, he won like one of those championships, and the Ho-Oh flew past him again in the sky. There was one episode, and it did fly again up there. I think it was the one after he... man, what did he beat? It wasn't like his recent championship. It was one like halfway through after like Gen 4 or something.
I mean, Ash only won one. Actually, he only won like 3 official like championships.
Yeah, one of those, the Ho-Oh flew past him again. He saw it again in one of the episodes.
I mean, he won the Orange Islands competition.
Maybe it was that. Yeah. I don't know.
And then he won the Aloha one, and then he won the actual world tournament.
Just to clarify, he does show up in other movies, but those are like brief, minor cameos.
Yeah. All right, guys, I got to hop off, but it was good discussing.
And that concludes another Pokemon movie review. Join us next time as we venture to Hoenn, sort of, in our review of Pokemon Heroes.